Shut up and sit down.
Good day, real estate investors. My name is Scott Lurie, and we are today on the Hard Truths by Scott Lurie, joined by Justin Colby. Justin, I had the pleasure of meeting in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, flew all the way here from Miami to join us at the Hustle Harder event last year. Justin, thanks for joining us on the Hard Truths. Really excited to be able to sit down with you and discuss your real estate journey. So thanks again for being here.
Yeah, man. Super excited to do this.
Yeah, so Justin and I, just as a little background, Justin came here for the Hustle Harder event, which I mentioned, which is basically 400 people from, I think we had 43 states represented, was basically a real estate, Midwest real estate event. It was phenomenal. Our mutual friend, Tony Romero, put it on. I was his sponsor and partner in the deal to bring these folks here. We're on round 3 coming in August. So a little plug for Tony and for Hustle Harder. But the Hard Truths is really a real estate journey podcast, right? We talk about a lot of different things, and Justin and I had a chance to talk. Justin towers over me by a good foot. Justin started, and Justin has basically got involved in real estate and really has accelerated it by not only being successful in his own right, in his own abilities, but he's also taking on coaching to help other folks learn how to do real estate, because Justin is one of those guys that when you meet him, a true passionate real estate person who found this world of real estate that's really opened Justin's financial life, personal life, financial freedom life. Everything that Justin does right now is really hinged on his success in real estate, and so he shares it with others. So Justin, let me just hear a 5-minute background story on basically what were you doing before real estate? Because you obviously were doing something. You jumped into this real estate world and you caught fire, right? You caught fire in that you flipped over 1,500 houses. You've been aggressive in approaching the market. Your risk profile of risk versus reward remains tremendously high. And so, a lot of our listeners are either passive investors, own 1 or 2 properties, or have just been on the sidelines and still wondering, man, Justin, tell me, how did you get started? How did we get to 1,500 houses? What was the first house we did? How did we even think about real estate?
Yeah, so when I got started, I was broke, busted, and disgusted. So okay. I went into real estate. So I graduated UCLA in 2003.
The Bruins.
So that dates me there. I'm a Bruin.
All right.
So graduated in 2003 and went into door-to-door sales, which taught me an immense amount of skill sets.
What were you selling?
Credit card processing,
okay.
UPS service for businesses, and internet services.
Awesome. Okay.
So I loved it. Taught me a lot. Owned my own business. It was great. I made a bunch of money. I landed in Boston, Massachusetts. I'm a Cali boy.
Okay.
That weather was not good for me door to door. I caught full-blown pneumonia. So I gave up the business, and my buddy called and said, "You want to get into real estate?" And this is back in 2005. So the market was still booming. I was selling new home builds. It was easy. I was basically, anyone in the world could have done it. You sit behind a desk, you get about 10 to 20 offers every single day. You choose the highest one. That is your entire day.
So it was a math problem at that point. Hey, who's got the highest number? We'll take that offer.
So, of course, I'm 26, making a lot of money, buying house, buying $100,000 car, doing all the stuff, and the market shifts. I am a victim of the market, not woe is me. I was the same guy that also got 100% financing and everything that was available at the time.
Sure.
But I was living above my means. I was spending all the money I was making, etc. And so when the market hit, I lost my home to foreclosure. The repo man took my car, and I was sleeping on a couch. And back in 2007, it was right before the big crash, right? There was no podcast. There was no YouTube University. There's none of what we know today. So I didn't really know where to start, but I loved real estate. I hated being a realtor. Okay. So I was like, well, why don't I fix and flip homes? Seems like the obvious choice. Well, it's an obvious choice. I didn't have a path. I didn't have a process. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't know where to even start. So I just started cold calling realtors. Hey, I'm looking to flip a home. Is your listing something that could work? Blah, 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 blah. So it took me 9 months of cold calling 100 realtors a day to get my first deal.
So stop right there for a minute, because a lot of the people that I talk to and a lot of the investors that we deal with and a lot of probably your students to some level or the folks that you're mentoring or people that, 9 months from 0 to 9 months, that window traditionally after 10 days, 90% of people fall off, right? They're like, I've spent 10 days calling everyone and nobody's answered my calls. I have no transactions. I'm broke. I'm out of here, right? I'm going to my next career where I can get a job, a paycheck. I'm going to work for somebody. So, that 9 months, can we just talk a little bit about, what was the darkest moment? I mean, there has to be some depression in there. There has to be, have I lost my mind? But there's also the other side of it, that burning fire, that you have perseverance, you've got dedication, you've got commitment, you've got the tenacity to basically be able to say, I'm not quitting. I'm not quitting. And you could wake up every day and quit, right? And the easiest thing to do is say, I'm done. So walk me through those 9 months, because it took you 9 months to find your first deal. Before we get to the deal, tell me, what were those dark days like? Because a lot of people that are listening to this are going to say, Justin, man, 9 months? I just did it for 30 days. I haven't wholesaled my first property. I haven't gotten my first property under contract. I haven't done jack nothing. But you did it for 9 months? 270 days? Tell me about that.
So the hardest part when you're in that moment is the noise. Your friends and family questioning, are you making the right decisions? Friends making fun of you. You're broke, right? I had no other income because I was pot committed in real estate investing. So I did not go get another job. I begged my buddy to sleep on his couch for as long as he was willing to let me do that. Your ego, I'm already broke, busted, disgusted financially, but also psychologically, emotionally. I'm already there. I'm already at the bottom of all that, right? Because I'm literally sleeping on a couch with no money and no income. So to some extent, it was weed out the noise. If they're making fun of you, you make fun of you because I'm going to win. And that fire that
was the gasoline that was kept getting poured on you every single day while you're sitting on your couch. You're, as you describe yourself, broke, busted, and disgusted. You're at the all-time low of yourself, but you have some propensity to continue, and it's the noise. It's the, hey dummy, when are you going to stop sleeping on the couch and go get a real job noise that just keeps throwing fuel on you? Is that an accurate statement?
Yeah, 100%. Because I knew I could win and create. Everyone's aware of Ed Milet at this point, and his newest book talks about one more, Powerball more. I wanted to be the one in my family that could really win. Right? Okay. I come from a family of alcoholics. Everyone has their own story, so it's not a woe is me. We all have it. And that was my story. And so I just said, I'm going to go financially win and fucking create an incredible life, because I know what not incredible looks like, with my family. And so the biggest blessing I was given was alcoholic parents that scraped by every day. I was never in need. I was never destitute in the sense of we never had money. They were scraping by every single month to pay the mortgage and all this other stuff. And so the biggest gift, looking back on it now, that I can say was given that, because that was the ability to say, life is so much more and I can create such a fucking awesome life that I'm going to go get it, and it's on me. And now here's one thing that I don't know how to replicate in my students. I don't know how to do it on my podcast or your podcast.
Sure.
It's the shoulder shrug mentality. When you have haters, when things go wrong, and you have it for sure, I know that to be true, is shit hits the fan in real estate all the time.
Every hour.
Probably on every deal.
Every day. Every day. Every deal.
If you don't have an ability to go, all right, how do we solve it? Let's go. Okay. If you're the type of person that goes, oh my God, it will ruin you. And I have the shoulder shrug mentality. So when I was sleeping on the couch, down and out, and the whole thing, I could be like, whatever, guys, I'm going to go win. Whatever. Who cares? I don't care. I'm going to go win. I will make this work. Right. So I had that I don't really care.
Yeah. So talk through that though, but Justin, let's break that down for a minute, because I think you're touching on a very large but really important topic, right? Which is, is every deal that you said has hair on it, right? Nobody, no matter how you describe, even if it's a Class A brand new construction or a fix and flip in the most pristine neighborhood where you're locked in to make your money or whatever, there's always problems, right? Whether it's inspectors, financing, cost overruns, foundation walls, the city inspectors telling you to add X amount of scope that you never even contemplated before you even talked to the idiot that's pissing you off right now. And you're saying to yourself, how do I fix this problem? And most people, right? So most people take the drama approach. I don't want to, we all know Jerry Springer just passed away and he was a great comedian or talk show host forever, but people take the Jerry Springer approach of the drama and the nonsense versus the disciplined line that is just, I've got to solve the problem to be successful. I've got to solve the problem to not lose. I got to solve the problem so that I can win. I got to solve the problem for my team. I've got to solve the problem for my entire world. And maybe what I thought was going to be a home run might only be a single now. But hitting a single doesn't mean that I should give up and throw away the keys and move on, right? It should be, hey, I got to go solve the problem because tomorrow's a new day. And so when you talk about that, Justin, I think that it's got to resonate with a lot of people pretty significantly, is that fixing houses is not as easy as they make on the TV shows. It's not as easy as you see on various different Instagram channels. Knock this wall down. Snap your hands. We got a brand new this. And I just made $50,000. Bull. Tell me that ever happens to you. And I want to talk to you right now because I've been doing this for a long time and that's not how it happens. So I think your mentality is important. And I'd like you to dig into it a little bit. When you say the shrug the shoulder mentality, it's really to me, it's okay. Now I'm in firefight mode, right? I got to go solve a problem. I got to put the fire out so that not only I can salvage what might be now a break even or even a total win that is now going to be a double, but I still have to win because tomorrow is a new day. And people, we see this all the time, by the way, in our lending practice. And I don't like to get into certain deals, but we see borrowers that have great business plans and something hits the road, right? They bump and the bump sends them into orbit, right? And they never come back down. Or we have borrowers that have done 20 deals with us that have been successful that hit a bump, and the bump could be a personal bump. The bump could be a family bump. The bump could be a business bump, and they never come back and they're gone. And so I think the takeaway for anybody right now is, first of all, it's not easy, right? If it was easy, everyone would do it. You mentioned that you can't solve this on the podcast, but I think it's worth having people think about it when they want to get involved in real estate, right? Or you say, I can't tell my people I'm mentoring how to have this shrug your shoulder mentality. It's really a mentality of how to be successful through the ups and downs, right? How to firefight, how to solve problems. And Justin Colby happens to be a good problem solver. Justin Colby spent 9 months sitting on some guy's couch who wanted him probably out of his house. But Justin said, hey, I'm going to be there. Justin had 2 alcoholic parents, he said, and they were struggling to get through to success every month, but they survived. And Justin, a product of of a higher education, UCLA, went to be a salesman, realized that's not for him, got involved in a business and said, I'm going to win, guys. And so that to me is the most important piece of it, is that 9 months tells anybody, regardless of where you are in this world, that Justin Colby is tenacious and wants to succeed in real estate. And so you can do it, right? But putting one bandit sign up on the corner or making 10 phone calls or sending 5 emails or having your dialer call 50 people and getting 0 victories, getting 0 contracts, doesn't make you a failure today. It's just a day. Tomorrow is a new day.
It's the perseverance. And so what I would say is this. For everyone that is in business, right? I don't care if you're Elon Musk, Scott, Justin Colby, Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett. You have to have a bigger desire for what you want than what's going to happen to get there. And what I mean by that is, I'm not talking about what's your why. Everyone's answer to that is the same if you're a parent. It's your children, okay? That is the same answer for everybody, so we don't need to go there. So I have 5 pillars of success that I believe every multi-billionaire would agree with are the 5 pillars you need. And I know, Scott, you will agree. So I'm going to list them.
Yes, hear them.
Decide what you want and decide who you need to be to get it. That is the first pillar. Right? Decide what you want and who you need to be to get it. 2, commit to it. Right?
And committing to it is the most. And when you talk about commit to it, I just want to just hone in for 2 seconds here, Justin. When you say commit to it, it's not partially commit to it. Justin doesn't say that's kind of commit to it. It's when you commit to something, make it 100% commitment. That is your 100% time and education and dedication and perseverance and sophistication and understanding to succeed. Education. If you don't know it, go learn it. But there is a way when you say commit to it, I think people need to understand what commit to it really means. Because in our society, I think commitment is a whole new world today. It's like, I'm going to try. Okay, thanks for your best efforts. I'll have my kid run past you and go commit to it and finish it while you're still committing to it.
That's right.
That's your number 3.
You commit because you're going to have tough days, right? So this is where the rubber meets the road. Is number 3 is take massive action. So I, as a coach, and I've coached thousands of real estate investors, I would rather ignorance on fire. Someone who doesn't even know what to do, but they are just going down the freeway at 200 miles an hour. They don't care. They're going to commit to taking massive action, right? I would rather that person rather than knowledge on ice.
Okay.
See, the problem is people think they're too smart and they outthink themselves from actually doing what needs to be done.
But so Justin, let's go through ignorance on fire, because I think that's we get a lot of ignorance on fire, and I agree with you. It's you'd rather coach, we'd rather hire, you'd rather train someone that doesn't understand everything but has all of this energy, passion, commitment, drive, success to be there and willing to run through walls. Even if they don't know what's through the wall, they're going to run through it just to get through it, because behind it might be something. And so when you mentor, you said thousands, and you talk to all of these people, and I love your activity, because these students need guidance, right? So ignorance on fire needs direction to become successful. And Justin does provide a wonderful opportunity for that shifting. But when you talk to those people, what is the characteristics you see of the ignorance on fire, right? Somebody that's coming to you, are they motivated by money? Are they motivated by success? Are they motivated because they want to buy new shoes? Where's their motivate? Like, tell me more about the ignorance on fire, because that characteristic is most intriguing to me as well.
Yeah, it's usually a place of pain.
Okay.
They're usually actually not motivated by the things that maybe you and I are at this point, right? I've done this 15 years. I think you're close to 20, something of that nature.
Yep.
Like, we are a little bit more motivated by the life, the things, the fun. That tends to push you and I at this point. These people are starting where we did 15, 20 years ago. They're motivated. I don't want a boss anymore. I'm tired of my 9 to 5. I'm tired of being broke. I'm tired of barely paying my rent every month. I don't want to be told what to do. I want to create my own life. I'm tired of living with my parents. It's usually more of a pain motivator than anything else. I have some very intelligent students right now that are a little bit, what I would say is up in the years, right? They're in their 50s and 60s, because they realize, like, even retirement's not going to be a reality for them. They want something beyond that, where even if they retired from a job, they're going to be able to create a certain level of income and build a certain level of wealth. So I'm a firm believer in our space. You need to be a dynamic real estate investor. And I know the popular methodology right now is wholesaling. I love wholesaling. I wholesale 10 to 20 deals a month. It's great. It's not the only thing I do. And what I try to coach people and show people is you should be doing it all. You should be wholesaling. You should be fix and flipping, and you should be buying rentals. You should be creating finance deals. You should do a short-term rental. You should do a long-term rental. All of that should be part of what you're doing as a real estate investor, because I will never retire from real estate. I'm sure you are the same. Will it change shape? Will you be lending at the capacity you currently are today in 10 years? Probably not. You'll probably still have a lending institution, but you, Scott, will likely be with me on the beach, right? So
I don't like sand, but I'll probably be in Florida with you.
Amen. Funny. I don't like sun and sand either. Anyway.
So hold on. We're going to go back to point 3. I don't want to run on a tangent. So we're at 3. This year 4 and 5, and then we'll bring it back, because I got a lot more to discuss with you on the what you just said, which is be involved in real estate and all real estate. We'll talk about that. Let me hear 4.
4 is get extremely uncomfortable. Because what I tell people is like, if you've never done anything, just choose anything that you've never done. You're going to be extremely uncomfortable to get used to it. Right.
Yeah. And when you tell them to get uncomfortable, though, I mean, does that mean picking up the phone and calling somebody that, or visiting a RIA event that they've never been to and don't know anything about, or going to an open house and everything, guys. So when you say be uncomfortable, do something that you normally would not do today in real estate, whatever that something is, whatever it is. Take a real estate class, listen to Justin Colby's podcast or YouTube channels, or find a mentor. Do something that's different that makes you extremely uncomfortable. Love it. And
get used to that, because so like, I'm uncomfortable all the time. Scott's going to be the same way, because we're pushing the envelope of our own reality. And what I mean by that is we've reached a certain level of success and we're not done.
Right.
So to get to this next level of success for Scott or for Justin Colby, I need to get uncomfortable. I've never been there.
Right.
The next level for me is uncomfortable because I'm not there. I've never been there. So I and Scott both also get uncomfortable. We just have been able to build our nervous system around that to be okay with it, where most people just getting started, they haven't. They're freaking out. They're like, oh my God, I got to call a realtor. I got to call this buyer, or I got to do whatever.
Right. Yeah, no, it's funny because I think about like where I always tell people like I just have a deeper tolerance for pain than you, because I can take larger risk and I can sleep at night. But man, you wake up, you're like, that's crazy what you're doing, but it works. You just have to have that, you have to have a sound business plan, and then you got to have the ability to just go to bed, and wake up and be like, all right, I'll solve that problem the next day. Okay, let me hear 5.
So we have be extremely uncomfortable, and then you have to, this is probably the most important one in my top 5. I guess I don't want to make sure it's like the total most important.
Well, they're all important, so we're not going to use any numbers in them. We're going to say, here are 5 points, and that's your number 5, so that we can not allocate a preference to any of them.
You need to be very okay with removing your improper time expectation on the result. So what I
got to break that down for me.
For newbies, is they give themselves, I want to get a deal in the first 30 days.
Right.
And day 31 comes and they quit.
Yeah, so Justin Colby in 2005 wanted a deal the first 10 days, but it took him 9 months. Justin Colby would still probably be on that guy's couch trying to figure out how to do something if he quit and said, I'm going to do nothing, or chose a different path. So, say it one more time. I just want everyone to hear it one more time.
Remove your time expectation on the result.
Right. And I always ask, so let's go back to that for a minute, because when you say remove your time expectations, I often ask people, how did you set your time expectation? Right? Where did you, how did you, who call it ignorance on fire, right? So I'm an ignorant, I want to be in real estate. I want to do it in the next 30 days. Well, why? Like, why that is your number? And I don't think it's the most important. I think it's the most relevant for people that are new to real estate, or passionate about real estate, or have ignorance on fire, which is basically a burning desire to learn something they don't know. Concept. I think that, right, that global piece of it is why set yourself up for failure if you are going to set a time frame that is unreasonable, right? Because there are people, right? So we have a mutual friend, Jerry Norton. There's people on his channel that have done a flip in the first week, right? But that's the story that makes the headlines, right? The real story is it took Justin Colby 9 months to get off of the couch and get his first deal by trying 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 9 months. Justin got his first deal. If his expectations were 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, Justin would not be here today talking about real estate. Justin would be doing something else. And so I think it's so critical for all of us to at least acknowledge that you have to write 100 offers. Think about this, to get one deal. 1%. So how many offers have you written today, or how many offers? When I was starting, I would write 100 offers a week. Right. So I needed 100 potential sellers to talk to them, to write 100 offers, to maybe get one. Some weeks we got 3, some weeks we got 5. Guess how many weeks? Some weeks we got 0. Most weeks we got 0. Most weeks I'd come back home with the bone and I'd say, I got no dog. I got nothing. I got book kiss here. And so I think it's important because we talk to real estate investors all the time, right? Every day. And they look at our applications and they say, someone else beat me out, or this didn't happen. Yep. I'm like, that's okay. And half of them go away. We never hear from them again. And I'm like, you don't have what Justin has. You don't have that tenacious, unwavering fire to be successful. Don't set an expectation of timing. And so when you mentor, Justin, because I'm very intrigued as to what you say to your mentees, the students that are coming to you looking for advice. How do you level their expectations, right? Because people, as much as when you said there wasn't a YouTube channel when we got started in 2005, and there sure as hell wasn't when I started 20 years ago, I didn't have anybody. I had a dark passion to be successful, but I didn't get to go online and be like, hey, Justin, can we rap out about how you did this wholesale contract or how you did this creative financing? Or I didn't get to talk to Jerry or Carlos or any of the guys out there that are doing all these amazing things. Those guys weren't around. We didn't have those guys. And the guys that were successful, they didn't want to talk to you. They were like, goodbye.
Wanted to keep it a secret.
Right, of course. And now it's like, it's not a secret anymore. But so how do you guide? Because it's a guidance, right? You can't tell someone what to do. You can guide them what to do. How do you guide them to set their timing expectations for their first deals?
So great question. So part of my ability to guide is I'm still a very, 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 very active real estate investor. As I've told you, I'm doing 10 to 20 deals each and every month. So I'm able to highlight some of those deals for them. But the other component is for the students that are getting these deals. I make sure to highlight that as well. And I make sure to highlight the pros and the cons that went around those students getting the deals, right? And so for me, it is one thing to be able to tell someone, remove your time expectation on the result. I can say that every single day on my coaching calls.
Sure.
Some will take it, some won't, right? But when the results happen from others beyond myself, my students getting the result, it does start to click in my students. And that's why these group coaching calls are so valuable, is because I can take a CJ as a student or a Jakai or, Nick or
so give me Jakai's story. Let's use Jakai as an example. I don't know Jakai. I don't know anything about the guy. You just said his name. Yep. I don't even know if it's a guy or girl, candidly.
Guy.
So tell me, Jakai's story is what? He got to you, you're mentoring him. How long has he been at it? What's his first deal? How long is he going to be getting to his first deal? Give me the high level.
So he works full time. He's doing this part time. He's done.
So I'm going to interrupt you. I'm going to interrupt you for 2 minutes. So he's a W-2 employee. He has a job working full time for somebody. He has an ignorant, burning desire to learn real estate. Reached out to Justin Colby. He's now looking into let's just say he's in your mentee program, but it's not about that. He wants to be in real estate, and he's spending some time each day on real estate.
Yep.
Okay.
And so he did all the YouTube University because he thought he could learn it for free and he'd be able to do this and not invest in a coach.
Okay. Came
with no success, right? Just that is never the way, by the way. If you're getting free information, you're getting for what you get what you pay for, right?
Sure.
There's a difference between getting information and getting educated. Right. Totally separate things, totally different podcast episode.
Sure.
But so he's had no success. So he finally sees a video of mine or jumps on one of my free trainings. And he says, Justin, I'm desperate. I'm going to invest in coaching because I can't figure out how to make it work myself, even though he has watched hours and hours and tens of hours of YouTube. So I say that to say, then he invests in coaching. I give him one strategy to work on market privy deals.
So hold on. So you give him one strategy, which is to work on market. So on market versus off market means on market is a property that's listed, in the public realm, traditionally through MLS, of an on-market transaction. So this is a multiple listing service, MLS. Justin has told his mentee, his student, to go and find deals that are on market. And what was the second thing you said about it? On market.
I think I was saying, so I gave him the strategy to go on market.
Okay, so he's on market now. Go ahead. Yep. Sorry.
Because here's the one thing that most newbies, there's so much talk about off market is where the deals are at and blah, blah, blah. Well, it's not totally incorrect. People overlook at the fact that the highest motivated seller is the one that already has their home for sale.
Right.
That is the highest motivation. Everyone's trying to find a motivated seller. They're on the MLS. They've literally said, I want to sell. Right. Now it's our job to be a good negotiator, to make the right offer, to negotiate the deal. And so
I gotta stop you for a minute, because that gives me a good chuckle. But yeah, everyone always talks about motivated sellers. Everybody on MLS is a motivated seller. They've already committed to it. They already are. Now, what you said second to that is you got to be a good negotiator. And this is where the education training can come in and help you. And the student's name one more time? Jakai. So Jakai's motivation at this point, as you said, Jakai, go to on market, call the realtors, and work the on market deals, because those people are motivated sellers. Let's talk. Okay, carry on.
That's it. And so he takes that suggestion, but he doesn't take the next suggestion, which actually worked for him. So I'm a big component of pick up the phone, call. Right. I'm old school. Like, you call the agent, have a conversation. Why are they selling? What's happened? Why hasn't it sold? Have you received offers? All that stuff. Right. But he's a little more shy. Right. So he's uncomfortable already, but he's okay with doing it. So he starts texting these agents.
Okay.
And I literally do not coach to do that. However, for him, it worked.
Okay.
So within 1 week of doing this with me, and again, this is the headline story that we just talked about.
Yep.
Within 1 week, he contracts his first deal, and within 3 weeks, he collects an $8,000 check.
8 G's.
All within 3 weeks.
So tell me, so Jakai, okay, so I like Jakai. I don't know Jakai. I'd like to meet him one day. But so Jakai took his interpersonal deficiencies that you are different than yours, right? So you're a pick up the phone call guy. You said he's introverted to some level, and you didn't say that, but he's not a guy that wants to pick up the phone and call these agents. So he goes through the process of texting them. He gets a deal under contract and then wholesales that contract, I'm assuming, and makes $8,000. So he made $8,000. And so for many people, right, that's a hell of a lot of money, which it is, and it's a great success story for Jakai on this first go about it. And let's just say, even if this happened month 9 versus the first month or whatever, Jakai's been working on real estate for a long time, right? Jakai's might be traveling down the wrong path, but every path he travels down is a learning path for him to get to the next step. He finally lands with Justin. Justin tells him, hey, do these few things. These few things result in him getting a contract, getting a check, and holy crap, this guy's now on top of the world, right? He's just did something that he's dreamt of doing for a long time.
Yep.
Okay.
And then right after that, he gets his second one because it's momentum.
Right.
So the best time to go get your next deal is right after this deal, right?
Right
That's
during
the very best time. You're confident,
right.
You're rolling, things are going good, you got the mojo. The next one only makes him $3,000.
Okay.
Do you guys hear me? Only?
Yeah.
How many of you listening to right now would beg for an extra $3,000 right now? Like, even me, I'm with you.
I'll take it.
I want an extra $1,000 right now. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Right. And so, now, so my point to that is, it's just about having the right process and structure and system and being held accountable for the actions you're taking. So one of the things and I spoke to this in Milwaukee when I was speaking on your stage, was CIA, commitment, intention, and action, right? Sure. The challenge that people have is their intentions aren't appropriately accurate with their time. Where are you spending your time? What is your intention with what you are doing during the day? So are you trying to build a website because that's going to get you your deal? Are you trying to make business cards because that's going to get you your deal? Are you underwriting? Here's the biggest challenge I have right now with all of my students. I called them out even yesterday. They will go look at a property and spend an hour underwriting the property, figuring out what the ARV is, understanding how much rehab budget there's going to be, figuring out how much, if they're going to wholesale it, where their offer is going to be, percentage, the Mayo formula. All right, is it really going to be this number? Can I make this offer? So an hour of their entire life, their time.
Right.
They pick up the phone and call the agent, and the agent doesn't answer. They just wasted an hour of their entire life doing this entire pro forma on this one deal, and then the agent doesn't answer. Another good example is the agent picks up and says, oh, we just went into escrow this morning.
Right.
1 hour of their entire life was spent underwriting this property. that they don't even know if they can even get, if they even have access to, if it's even still available, and they're not intentional with their time. They might be committed.
And do you agree? Do you agree, Justin, that time is our most valuable commodity? Because I wish all day long I had more time. I wish I had more time to do everything in a day that I need to do, and I always finish the day with an intentional day, by the way, and I'm like, crap, I forgot these 3 things. And so I think the takeaway, Justin, that I think you are getting at, that you have properly articulated, and we need to properly break down, is what would you do in this scenario before making the hour-long analysis paralysis journey? What would you recommend they do, right? What are you telling that person to do? You've gone there, you've seen the property, now what? Call the agent before you even get into it?
Yep. Done is better than perfect, right? So all the newbies want to be perfect with their offer. I want to make sure it's the right offer, that it gets accepted, that I could either wholesale and make 10 grand or whatever. They want that offer to be the one.
Right.
And I'm like, no. Done is better than perfect.
Sure.
Perfection is the enemy of getting shit done.
Right. And in our business, by the way, remember, if you have a motivated seller and you're concerned about something, reduce the price. Have the conversation, but don't go there and say, oh, I got to bring some foundation specialists in. I got to go through these. I got to get a roofer out here. I'm not exactly sure. By the time you're done with all that, the deal's sold, closed, wholesale, flipped, and done again. You're like, holy hell, what's going on here?
Right. And that's exactly the point is the first thing you do is you make contact, right? So the most important action you can make is making an offer, right? And Scott, you brought that up. But before the offer, you need to talk to someone, homeowner, agent, whoever, right? And so the first thing you should do, and I'm just using the example of Privy, which is the MLS access online in Milwaukee and 100 different cities.
Sure.
Look at the property, say, does that look like it would be a good investment property? Based around the pictures, great, call the agent. That's all you need to do. I don't care what it's listed at versus what potential ARV is until I talk to the agent. Right. Because the agent will likely give me some level of feedback to figure out where I could potentially be, why the property hasn't sold, have they received offers, why did it fall out of escrow, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, all important information. And by the way, you're also building your network. What people forget about is when you make that phone call, hey, it's Justin Colby. I'm calling Diane in Milwaukee. Next time you have a deal in Milwaukee, you're going to call Diane and say, Diane, hey, any information? Oh, Justin, nice talking to you again. And that's the network that gets built all over the country. That's so critical. We visit and do these events. We go to events. I mean, I've left that event. I've done deals, I've partnerships with Jerry Norton. I've talked to Justin Colby. I've talked to Carlos Reyes. I've talked to Tony and Eric in North Carolina. I mean, I have a whole new network, and their network is part of a network I can cling on to, and vice versa. And so it's networking, socializing, being part of what we're doing is so critical. Let me jump to you talk about finding deals, and you talk about Privé, and you talk about, there's so many tools out there. What are your I've got a person on the sidelines, right? They are passionate about real estate and haven't done a deal in 5 years, but their passion's been there for 5 years. How are you, let's go through a couple tips on how to find deals, right? Because everyone wants to know, where's the deal? Yeah, off-market deals from a motivated seller is great. The problem is you got to pick up every rock to find the motivated seller and then to find a deal that's great. And so motivation, I understand, but give us the Justin Colby, how do we find some deals? In addition to, I'd like you to highlight back that the best motivated sellers are already the ones that are on the market, because I love that one. Yeah.
Well, so I love on market and off market. So my company, really, we kind of have two divisions, I like to call it. We have the off market team and the on market team, right? Okay. And so there's two softwares that if you just have these two softwares, I don't think you really need anything else. Okay. One is reileadmachine.com. Lead Machine.
So guys, ready? It's reileadmachine.com and so tell us what that tool does for you.
So for most people are familiar with a tool like a PropStream or some like kind of all-inclusive, you can pull lists, you can comp properties. So this does that at a much higher level, but the real key component is the big keyword these days is AI and Chat GPT.
Yep.
So REI Lead Machine has a built-in AI into it that goes over 400 billion data points over the last 40 years of selling real estate, and then will say what homes have the highest percentage to sell. And based around the last 4 years of data using this AI, now AI is a big term. They've had it for 4 years. You have a 16 times better chance of that homeowner selling than you do if you just pull a normal list. 16 times. So Scott, to your point of making 100 offers a day or a week, like you now have 16 deals versus maybe one. Right?
Yeah, but all you want is the deal, right? You don't need to chase 16 leads if you can get to one. So REI Lead Machine, I'm actually on their website right now looking at it. The simple way to find, analyze, fund, and follow up high profit real estate deals nationwide. I've never heard of it before, so
well, welcome.
My ignorance is now less ignorance.
The AI component is there's a lot of amazing things in there, right? That you can comp properties, you can pull lists, there's a CRM, there's all these things. What separates it completely from the rest is the artificial intelligence that's running in the background, reviewing all the data sets and all the data points of real estate that is being transacted over the last 40 years of real estate. Little things like this, like when I talked to the architect of this, he said it's really twisted, the data, and he can't expose a lot of it for legality reasons. But he was like, think about this. There's a husband and wife. And all of a sudden they own their home. And all of a sudden there's also in the data, it shows that the husband just opened a lease on an apartment.
Right.
What is that probably telling you?
Well, they're probably not getting along.
Probably not. Right. And so it's twisted, but that's the type of data that this AI is pulling to say,
amazing.
This marriage may not work out very long. They probably have a higher chance at selling than the neighbor down the street.
Do they have an affiliate program?
They do, yeah.
All right, so can you do us a favor, because we want to share this software with our listeners, and we'd love for you to at least get the affiliate program connection with it. So if you could just email that to me or text me after that, I'll just post on our thing, because I'm going to sign up today, so I'd like at least you to have my affiliate referral.
I love you for it. So here's the cool thing: is I own this software.
You own it.
I took the architect.
Oh, wow.
He had the baseline software, and I built it into what I know I need for my business as well as my students.
Amazing.
So
I learn something new about you every day, Justin.
Every day. REILeadMachine.com is the affiliate link, brother. So
I'm on it right now, so it looks great. Great news. So guys, just for people that understand what I'm talking about with affiliate and affiliate machines, there's a lot of softwares that are out there, right? And so the reason I say it is people like Justin who go out and educate people. He's actually taken it one step farther and taken their software and white labeled it into his own REI Lead Machine software. Basically gets a referral fee back from the software for his education and introduction. So this is from a transparency standpoint. I only want people to understand I'm transparent. I'm going to sign up for it. I'm going to pay for it because it looks amazing. Justin's going to get a small snippet of my monthly payment every month that Justin will continue to build off of by his white label situation. And I have no issues with that other than to say, thank you for the introduction. I love AI and I think it's the future. So number 2, you were going to go on to the second.
Number 2. Now this I don't own.
Okay.
So I don't own. So I'll give you the affiliate link, but the online MLS access of Privy. So if you go to privytsof.com, that is the
so go through that.
link.
It's PRIVY.
PRIVY TSOF, the science of flipping, TSOF.com.
Okay.
PrivyTSOF.com. They have
Get Privy. Invest confidently with Privy. Skip the noise and get to what works. Okay?
Yeah, and it's direct access to over 100 MLSs across the nation. And that
and
number
do you
grows.
understand that whoever this person is, the biggest problem real estate investors like myself have is getting access to MLS outside of your market, right? Because there's hundreds of MLSs in hundreds of markets that are all over the place. And so Privy is amazing. I'm just looking at it right now as well. The reason I say that is getting access to MLS or the motivated sellers that have raised their flag and said, I'm motivated because my house is on the market. You have access to it through Privy. And so that's amazing. Okay. So 2 great softwares. We'll publish those under our chat and we have a little bit of time left, Justin. So I want to jump to an interesting topic. talking about marketing on a budget, right? So talking about, when we first started, when you were on your couch for 9 months, Justin didn't really have money to go and spend.
This is where I would spend it. If I'm the easy answer for me now is Privy.
Okay, so the easy answer for Justin right now, $97 a month. So you could go bartend and get your first day of tips and then go spend it on here. It's $97 a month. It basically gives you access to all of the 100 markets where motivated sellers are today. Right? So guys, so listen, Justin Colby's number one website that instead of spending money is to go to Privy. If for $97, if you can't figure that out, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, when I was started in 2003, I had carbon copy offer 3 pages that were a white, a pink, and a yellow. One was for me, one was for the title company, one was for the seller. And we would drop these off and we would go write offers. And when we signed them, it was like the bell was ringing. I don't even know where the hell the bell was. And I was on my next deal. And now you have Privy, an online resource for $97 a month, is Justin Colby's way of saying, get started, guys. Get started. So, okay.
Let's go.
So you mentioned one comment that we skipped over because it was part of what you said, but it's to me the biggest piece of this, right? It's once you gain your momentum, how do you build on it? Because I think you're right. The best deal, the easiest deal to get is number 2. Hardest deal is to get number 1. But 2 through 10, once your train's rolling and you're committed and you're dedicated and you have yourself in a position where you're like, I'm going to succeed, that momentum is so valuable. Let's talk about momentum a little bit, Justin, because momentum is everything, right? We just saw, this is a sore subject, but we just saw the Milwaukee Bucks get smoked by, not the Miami Heat, by the way. We got smoked by Jimmy Butler. And Jimmy Butler got momentum at the end of the game to single-handedly, by himself, at the fourth quarter, beat us in 2 games. And he was as red hot as he's ever been. His momentum was moving. In sports, as an analogy, it's the same thing here, right? When you get the confidence, when you get your first deal, when your mind shift changes, when you're steamrolling forward, your momentum is moving in the right direction. That happens. And so walk me through a little bit of your momentum ideology, how you share that ideology with your students, and what happens when you've seen thousands of students come through the Justin Colby world. When you feel that lack of confident individual that comes in with tremendous ignorance on fire, and then in 12 months after a program where they've done 10 deals, who is that person here? Because that momentum they're a whole different person. They're a confident, I know things, I'm learning things, I'm doing things person. That's a whole different person. Walk me through that, Justin.
Yeah, so the easiest way to say it, and the Jimmy Butler analogy is a great one. He just kept going, right? He knew he had the Midas touch at that moment. He knew he had it. He felt it. And as an athlete, when you're in the zone, they call it, right? And you just keep shooting. You will shoot. And Steph Curry just did it as well, right?
Steph Curry just did it again.
Game 7. He's like, give me the damn ball. I'm on fire. These shots I'm making are insane. And so in business, there is some relevancy to what we're doing with the sports analogy, which is, put your head down and you keep going, right? And so Scott has goals and I have goals. And in one of my goals, and I've said this, and it's still awkward to say I'm going to be a billionaire through real estate one day. Again, I didn't say in 10 years. I didn't say in 20 or 30. I didn't put a time expectation on it. I said a billionaire through real estate.
One day.
One day. And what I also mean about all that is to be able to say, I'm going to put my head down until I achieve it. And guess what? When I'm maybe 50 and I'm just I want to put my head back up and enjoy, and I have $500 million of net worth. Am I really complaining? Probably not.
No.
But the key to it is always, 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 always keep your head down. Don't look up. Cancel out the noise and keep going. It is the only way Scott has built what Scott has. It's the only way I built what I have, is because every day we put our shoulder pads on, we put our helmets on, and we get on the field. And because we're not done with what we're trying to achieve. One deal, you are not done. You want to quit your job and make it a deal every week. You want to be able to, create a lifestyle that can afford more vacations, 4 vacations a year. You want whatever that is. Every day you wake up, and you put your shoulder pads on and you put your helmet on and you get on the field and you play. And that is the secret sauce, everybody. It really is. This is why I say CIA, commit to it, have intention, take a lot of action. If you're committed, then you will continue to have your intention behind the commitment and your actions will then follow. And so I wish there was a cooler answer. Like, oh my God, this is how you get momentum, is how you keep it. No. You just keep doing the work. You just, every day you wake up, put on your boots and go.
Yeah. And I think the that statement of every day we go back, put our pads on, get back on the field, and we're in it to win it is really, the momentum. I often look at the days where I have a momentum stopper, right? There's something in my day that, whether it's an employee relations issue or whether it's I lost a deal that I didn't want to lose and I thought I had the deal, or whether it was financing that I was ready to do a deal on and it didn't go through, and you take a pause, you still got kicked in the teeth, right? I mean, everyone feels that way, yet I still show up the next day saying, all right, let's pick it up, guys, and let's get moving forward. And I think, right. I think, Justin, that is so valuable to the aggregate team, is really how do they solve for, the dark days, because not every day that we do what we do is just, I'm going out and getting deals and it's the greatest day in the world, right? People have lives, people have families, stuff happens for the positive, stuff happens for the negative. I spoke to my son yesterday who got a less than desired grade, but he didn't properly explain it to me. And so I said to him, hey, I'm a little disappointed with that result. And he said, but I did great. I got a 4. It was an AP class, and he got a 4 out of 5. I'm sorry. He got 4 when he could have gotten 5. So 5 is the highest. He got a 4. And so I said to him, man, the 4, which really equates to something else, was like in my mind, like a failure number. But he didn't tell me that it's that number plus this number gets you to the 4, which is what he's going to get in the class. And so I said, well, then you didn't properly tell it to me. But we went through this half-hour iteration of nonsense that I wish I could. It was just a negative energy suck, and he was pissed off at me, and I was like, hey, come on, kid, let's pick it all back up, because that's not what it is. And we finished the night in a great way, but now he starts today, so as a motivator, he's working on a real estate deal right now, and the seller is very challenged, right? The seller's got some nuances. It's a hairy deal. And so this morning, my text from my son, who I had an uncomfortable conversation with him yet last night, said to me, Dad, I think I have a plan to get the deal done. Is it okay if I go ahead and get my plan done? And I said, yeah, what's your plan? But go do it. I don't want to hear your plan. Just go do it. You're 17 years old and have a plan to go solve this problem. And you woke up at 6:15 this morning to text that to me. I love you, kid. All right, Justin, we're at the conclusion of what is our first podcast together. This was super helpful, Justin. I only say it because I think the start of the story really is 9 months on a couch to get my first deal, to being a successful real estate investor, coach, inventor of technology, white labeler. I think, Justin, you don't get to hear this from other investors, but as an investor, I'm proud of all that you've accomplished today. I want you to keep firing on all your cylinders. I'll be in Miami visiting with you. And Justin and I have had a relationship since we've met, and we continue to share some tequila here and there, and we continue to trade off different ideas and aspire each other to continue to be great and do great. Before I let you go, Justin, I just want to give you 1 minute. Just where could a potential listener find Justin Colby? How do they join potentially your program? Justin Colby's on Instagram. Find him. He puts out a lot of content. You'll enjoy his content. And then just a closing remark, if you could share with our group, and then we'll sign off for today. So, Justin, thanks for being here today, and let us hear how we can find you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So to your point, Instagram is probably the easiest way, the Justin Colby, and I will answer questions. So If you have questions, if you're interested in my coaching program, if you just want to chat, right? Like, I'm there for you guys. It's me behind it. There's no bot behind there. I'm really going to be talking to you guys. So the Justin Colby, let me know you heard me on Scott's podcast. And if you're interested in coaching, just let's have a conversation. Happy to help. The other place would be to get some more information, go to justincolby.tv. justincolby.tv. It'll bring you to my YouTube channel, subscribe, and I put out a boatload of content there, free education.
JustinColby.tv. I'm here right now, and I am on my way to Justin's. There it is, and it's offering me to subscribe, and I just subscribed. Okay.
Boom.
Now we're ready to go.
Let's go. And so the last thing I would tell anyone on here, and I'm assuming there's probably more people trying to break into this space, is if you really stick to the top 5 keys to success, and you really ingrain that into yourself, decide what you want from all this. Because to Scott and Mai's point, it's not puppy dogs and rainbows every day, right?
Sure.
Decide what you really want. Decide who you need to be to achieve that. What sacrifices are you going to make? Because there will be sacrifices personally. Then commit to that. Take massive action. Be okay being extremely uncomfortable. And lastly, remove all time expectations on results. And if you wrote those down, pause it, rewind it.
We're gonna highlight those. We'll highlight those as a clip too for everyone, because I think they're so valuable to everybody, and every little nugget that is shared resonates with somebody different throughout the process. And Justin, I think having those 5 pieces are so valuable to what we are doing. And so, I'm grateful for our time today, Justin. Thank you. My name is Scott Lurie. You're joining us today live with The Hard Truths by Scott Lurie. I have Justin Colby on our show. Justin, thank you again for being here. I look forward to seeing you soon, and to keep doing what you're doing. Everyone appreciates you.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, bro.
Awesome. Cool.